like the purple ones up there, up above Quinn's head. We're going to do 6x and 6 are 2 parts of 1 chord. So we're going to multiply them. 6x times 6.
But I don't put the 6x back.
That's only when it's on the outside.
Okay.
So now we've got to multiply 8 times 4x plus 1. Okay? So we're on today's homework, exterior angles homework. It's 5:19. So I've got the chat open. If you're at home and you have questions, let's ask them. If you're stuck on something, let's ask. But that's okay. Okay. So let's take them one at a time. If we look at question 3, you do. So if we look at questions 1, 2, and 3, they're all the same kind of question. 15x times 12x is 1 chord. And then 10 times 18 is the other chord. This one's a little crazy because we've got 15x and 12x. So you're going to multiply the 15 and the 12. What is 15 times 12? So Miriam, what's 15 times 12? $180. And then x times x is going to be x squared. And then 10 times 18 is also 180. How do you solve that problem? Divide by. So if x squared equals 1, what's x equal? Absolutely. So somebody else is asking, so what's the answer? Well, how do you solve that? What do you have to do? What's the last step? Take the square root. So what's the square root of 1? So this one is AB equals CD. Is there a question about number 2? Now I've got an outside and a total. So I've got to do the outside times the total. The outside times the total. So that's going to be 9x times 9x plus 11x. If you've got a segment outside the circle, you have to use it twice. So for number 2, 9x times the total, which is 9x plus 11. And then I can come over here. I'm trying to get a different color. The outside times the total. So that's going to equal outside times the total. 10 times 10 plus 8. What's 6x times 6?
36.
X. And then you got to distribute here. So it's 8 times 4x.
32x.
32x. And then 8 times 1.
Minus 32.
Minus 32x. 4x.
I got 4x.
And what's x equal?
2.
Did you distribute the 8? Did you get this 8 or did you just bring down the 1? Correct. So in the first one, it's just the 2 parts of one segment equal the 2 parts of the other segment. And the real problem with circles is figuring out which thing you need to do because there are so many different things. And I haven't even given you half of them. Yeah. Yeah. Morgan, I'm not going to give you any more this year. That just means that you may see one on the test, but you want to see more.
15 plus 12.
Not on my test, on the actual one.
I got 0. Oh, we're talking about 2. Okay. So 10 times 18. Which 10 times 10 is 100.
Oh, wait, I think the third one.
It's such a common mistake. I do it sometimes. So 99 and 80 is 180. So 180x equals 180. And what's 180 divided by 2?
It's not 8, it's 0.
They're going to look crazy complicated, and then they should reduce down to a very simple answer. Okay. Miriam, what was the other one you had questions about? We did question 3, but you said you had 3 or 4 of them. Okay, so let's do 7 first. This is what we did today. So we're going to do big minus small divided by 2 equals your angle. So if we look at question 7, what's the big arc? So we're going to do 270. And then the small arc is 90. I'm going to divide it by 2 and get the angle. So big minus small divided by 2 equals the angle.
Question 2 is 1. Yeah, it's question 3. Dang.
Did you get an answer?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It is, absolutely.
Oh.
So then let's go to question number 4. This is the outside times the total equals the outside times the total, but it's asking you for SU. So at the end of the day, I want to know how long this whole thing is. That's my question. So we're going to do 10. That's the outside times the total. So I got to use my 10 twice plus x plus 6. And then the outside 9 times the total 9 plus x plus 10. Right? Outside times the total. Remember, this has to be the total. and this has to be the total. So I usually combine first. And then I combine here. And then you got to distribute. And then we got to distribute here, 19 times 9. Then I'm going to subtract my 9x from 10x and get x. And then I'm going to subtract 160 from 71 and get 11. So if x equals 11, how do I find the distance from U to S? That's 9 plus 11 plus 10. Did that make sense, Miriam? Same thing as number 2. The temptation is to put it back in here and do this, but you don't want to do that. You want to put it back in here and do the part plus the part equals the total. So this part is 9 and this part is 21 and you want the total.
I did it right. I'm so proud of myself.
Are you so proud? Miriam, was there one more?
I didn't know there's two. Okay, just one time.
Make sure you answer number 4, the question that's being asked. I'm asking for SU, not just X. So 11 is part way to the answer, but it is not the answer. Okay. Thomas, number 3 is the same as number 2, or at least it's the same answer. So on number 3, you want to do 15 times 12x. So 15x times 12x, you multiply the 15 and 12 and get 180, and you multiply the x's and get x squared. So then divide by 180, and then take the square root of 1. Does that help, Thomas? And then George, I see number 6. So let's go look at number 6. Okay, number 6 is a little tricky. This is an inscribed angle. So we know the angle is half of the arc, right? And we know this is a diameter. So how many degrees is this arc? If this is a diameter, this arc is half a circle. So that's 180 degrees. And we know if we're going from the arc to the angle, it's half. So this is big and this is small. So that's going to be a right angle of 90 degrees. So then go through and see which one of these makes sense. There's only one answer that will make any sense if you know that this is a semicircle, so it's 180 degrees, and this is an inscribed angle, so it's half of that. Yes?
When I saw the whole circle SU on 4, do I multiply mine with
You add.
Or do you add?
So U to T is 9, and then T to S is 21. And the part plus the part equals the total. So the part plus the part equals the total in number 4. X does equal 11, but you want SU. Lily. Correct. Plus. The part plus the part equals the total. Correct. Until you get to question 5. Question 5 is arcs. So this is the big minus the small divided by 2 equals the angle. Okay. George, did it help what we just did with number 6? Did you figure out what the answer was? Okay. Lily, did you have another question? Okay, so 5 is what we did today. Big minus small divided by 2. Big minus small divided by 2. So what number is the big arc? Okay. And what's the small arc? Exactly. And then divided by 2 gives you the angle. We did do this today. I can. And I'll post this video right under this assignment. So anything we've done today will show. Yeah, Lily. This is not on the formula sheet. The only formula that we have up on the board that we wrote in our notes today that's on the formula sheet is the circle equation. All these other ones are not on the formula sheet. You're expected to know them. I know, it stinks. There's so much to memorize in geometry. Any other questions? We've got about 3 minutes before I release you, so I'm happy to do any of the other questions. You guys are asking great questions and working great together. Yeah. Yes. It is. George, you are 100% correct. Absolutely. Remember, in circles, if it looked like almost everything is drawn to scale in circles. So like in this question, if you know 68 and 28 and it's getting smaller, you can at least get rid of these two answers and you've got a 50-50 choice. Okay, Elijah, you're saying question 11. Let's go look at that. Question 11, if BAC is the angle and it's 72, I know this is inscribed, so automatically I'm going to go out here. This is bigger, right? So arc CD is twice as big. From the angle to the arc, I want to multiply by 2. So that's going to be 144. But then it's asking me for AC. So AC is this piece over here. So if I have a piece that's 104 and I have a piece that's 44, how can I find the purple piece? How many degrees in a circle? So if there's absolutely, there's 360 in a circle. If you start with the total and subtract out all the things you know, you can subtract out 104, you can subtract out 144, and what you're left with is arc AC. Okay. Did that make sense, Elijah? Awesome. Let Thomas, I see you asking about number 9. I'm going to go back to that. Morgan, let me just show you what we already did on 6. So we know it's inscribed. So if I know it's inscribed, it's half of this arc. If this is a diameter, then this arc is 180. So if the arc is 180, the angle is half of that. This is a right angle. It's 90 degrees. And then once you know all of that, you just have to look through here and see which one's your right answer. It is 8:44, so if you're in class, you are welcome to go. Thomas, I'm going to answer your question 9 because I want it in the video. So one thing that we touched on really briefly but was not in our notes is tangents meet at right angles. Okay, so this whole hypotenuse is the total. I've got to do 12,500 plus 3960. That's going to equal the C of our hypotenuse. What I'm looking for is the B, and this radius is the same. So this is 3,960. That's A. So now you're going to do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And the trick is to know that that tangent makes a right angle. Does that help, Thomas? I know it was loud back here. Okay, we'll talk about these tomorrow. Bye, guys. Have a great day. See ya.